Hi, Year 8s. Okay, so I'm just going to go through each of the tasks and give you a quick outline of what you need to do for each one. So for task 1, it says read and annotate the background information. So I want you to have a read of this before you watch Emma Watson's speech. This just gives you some background information on what the speech is, where it came from, where it happened, and so on. So all you need to do for this is just go through and make a comment using the comments function. So you'll be able to highlight something and then use this little plus symbol and make a comment about anything that you think is relevant background information. So you're looking for things like who the audience is, what it's about, who Emma Watson is and what her role is, just anything that you think might be interesting and relevant information to be able to understand what the speech is about. So you don't need to do too much. So once you've done that, then I want you to, in this task, make some predictions. So thinking about the background information, what do you think this speech is going to be about? So once you've done those two things, then you go and watch the actual video of her performing that speech. Once you've watched the video, then you can move on to task 2. So this is a transcript of her speech. So in this side here, you've got all of the things that she actually says. Then for each of these things, so I've color-coded them for you. You've got issue, audience, contention, purpose, arguments, and language features. So what you want to do is make a note in each of the boxes on the right-hand side. So for example, in this one, so the first few are done for you as a sample. So you need to fill in all of the blank boxes down here. So what you need to do is, if we look at this top one that I've done for you, so I've highlighted this part yellow because that tells me what the issue is. So she says, the more I spoke about feminism, the more I realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. So that is a part of the speech that tells me what the issue is. So the comment that I've made is that she's stating that feminism is becoming more about making everyone equal by bringing men down rather than bringing women up. Okay, so I've just I've written down how I've interpreted the issue. Then this part here is green, so this has to stop. That tells me that that's her contention. And I've just said here, she's contending that feminism is different to hating men. So I'm just making comments about the things that I found in her actual speech. The language features, so I've highlighted this one purple. Feminism by definition is the belief that men and women should blah, 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 blah. So this gives me some context and gives the audience a definition of what feminism actually is. She gives a definition to help her audience understand her perspective. So I'm just making a comment about what the language feature is that she's used and why she's used it. So like I said, the first few have been done for you just to give you an idea of the kind of thing I expect to see. And then, so you would go and do this one. You'd look for anything that shows you the issue, audience, contention, purpose, arguments, or language features, and then make a comment about it in the box here. Okay. Use the color coding that I've organized here, and you'll notice as well that you're not going to have everything in each section of the box. So this part here only has issue and contention. So you might find heaps in one box and then only one thing in another box, and that's fine too. Once you finish that, that'll take you a little while as well, so you don't need to rush through that one. Once you finish that task, go to task 3. So this one asks you to just think about the speech as a whole and identify the following things. So the issue, the audience, the contention, and the purpose. So you're just going to write that in the box here. Then you need to go back and look at all of the arguments. So what arguments are used by Watson to support her contention? I want you to dot point those there. Then I want you to choose one of the arguments that you've dot pointed and complete the analysis table. So this is similar to what you've already done in the week 1 worksheet. So it should be familiar to you. So you're going to summarize the argument, restate it here. What exactly does she say? So put in some quotes there, or like what's the word I'm looking for? Try and restate exactly what her argument is there. Then put in how it's shown. So language features or tone, you definitely need to provide some quotes there because you need evidence. And then think about why is it having an impact? What does it make the audience think or feel or do? So you're making a comment about the purpose and how that relates to the audience. Now this part here, this is just a sample, so you know the kinds of things that you should be writing in this table up here, okay? So with this section, you don't need to do anything at all. It's just a sample, so you know the kinds of things that you need to be putting in these boxes. Then you go on to task 4. So this here is a sample analytical paragraph which is analysing a different speech that you guys haven't watched, okay? So the purpose of this is just to show you what exactly the kind of writing that you're meant to be doing, like what that's going to look like. So you don't need to have watched this speech. It's not about a speech that you've seen. It's just a sample to show you this kind of structured writing that we're going to be aiming for. So in this sample paragraph, what I want you to do is annotate it. So like you did before, you're going to highlight little sections, make a comment, and put your comment in there. And what you're going to be commenting on is these things in the dot points here. So what argument is being analysed, what verbs are used, who is the audience, what evidence has been used, and what intended effect is analysed. So what this might look like is... let me have a look here. So if we look at this part, Varney describes the fear felt by young people. That you would highlight and say this is evidence. Okay, so the quote fear is evidence from the speech itself. And then you might say using an emotive appeal which connects the list of possible effects to the people. That is the intended effect that's been analysed. Okay, so go through this paragraph and just find all of these things in this sample analytical paragraph. And then the last task is to actually write an analytical paragraph about Emma Watson's speech. So to do that, what you're going to do is use the table that you filled in here. Okay, you're going to write about this argument and you're going to analyse it. Or you're going to put all of that information into an analytical paragraph that's similar to this one, okay? So you can use some of the same language that exists in this one. You can use some of the structural stuff that this one does, but it's going to be about what you've written in this table, and then that's going to go in here for task 5. So as always, email me if you need any help. I hope that clears up what you need to do for each of these tasks, and this is your work for the week, okay? So keep coming back to this video when you need clarification on what to do for each task.